So the 8-week challenge at CTS is over. It's officially over. We're working on getting the photos out so the participants can vote and pick some winners. But as I mentioned, and as I made a vlog of previously, I was doing a 6.5 week challenge. So I started 1.5 weeks later than the participants of our 8-week challenge. And I was going to do my own little challenge. My goal is to gain weight, gain a little bit of muscle, build some strength. So not exactly the same as most of the people in the challenge. Most of the people in the challenge wanted to lose some body fat. But my goal was to build muscle and gain some weight. So I did my own challenge. I wanted to take a snapshot basically of my progress. My goal continues, and for all the people in the 8-week challenge, I hope that their goals continue way past this 8 weeks. But these little blocks of time where you're super focused on your goal help, because it gives you a taste of what you actually need to do in order to achieve your goal. So for the 8-week challenge, the truth is most people most of the time don't put that much focus into it. So we give this 8-week challenge with an incentive of cash prize, with an incentive of, I don't know, bragging rights and a bunch of stuff just to get them to focus and get some actual results. But really, you want to strive to be that focused all the time. You want to use, obviously, methods that are more sustainable for you. So some people during the 8-week challenge, because they set a goal for 8 weeks, they might do stuff that's a little bit more drastic. But we always preach, find stuff that's sustainable for you, and hopefully after the 8 weeks are done, you can continue and you've built some good habits that you can continue with for the rest of your transformation journey. It's a little snapshot, 8 weeks. Mine was 6.5 weeks. So they ended this past week. So as did mine, and here are the results. So I started on the first day, April 27th, at 147.4 pounds, body fat of 20.7 or 30.51 pounds. So once I convert the percentage off of my current at that time body weight, this is the actual pounds of fat, and all the rest doesn't really mean much. The muscle mass gives a percentage, so did the same thing here, 59.1 pounds. My results as of the end, 150.4, so a gain of exactly 3 pounds. And like I said, I wanted to only gain 2 pounds a month. It was a month and a half, and I gained exactly 3 pounds, so hit it on the dot. Body fat down. It actually went down a little bit over 1%, which is good. My muscle mass went up a little bit, 0.6%, and then again, I translated it into the actual pounds of body weight. So what does that say? I stuck to my projection of 2 pounds per month, right? There actually were a lot of times where I track my body weight every day. There were a lot of times where I was ahead. So I would have been 150 2 weeks ago or last week. But what tracking allows you to do is pull the reins back a bit when you go too far. Of course, my goal is to gain weight. You might think like, oh great, like I'm achieving my goal faster than I thought I would. So I'm ahead of the game, keep pushing. I want it to be faster. My rate of progress could be faster. But the thing is, the faster you want it to go, the more drastic stuff you have to do, the more extreme things you have to do, and likely the more extreme side effects there are. So for me, in order to gain weight, if I was to push past my rate of progress of 2 pounds per month, I was going to put in extra body fat. And on the weeks that I did pass ahead of where I was supposed to be, I noticed that I got a little tummy, a little bloated. So I pulled back the reins a bit. I lowered my calories, and I tried to pull myself back into the right path and at the right rate. And then I ended up hitting it on the dot. I lost the body fat, the extra body fat that I gained from being ahead. And in the case of someone who's trying to lose fat, if you're losing fat at a rate that's too fast, most likely you're losing a lot of muscle mass. So you want to pull back the reins, add some more food back in, maybe reduce your training volume, something like that. It really depends on the person, but don't rush it. Whatever your goal is, don't rush it. Another thing that I want to talk about is this machine, the scale right there. The machine, the evil machine that everyone hates. Guys, it's just a machine. It doesn't really matter like what the paper says. It gives you a range. It gives you kind of like a ballpark figure. But what this ballpark figure tells you is progress. Are you progressing in the right direction, or are you progressing in the wrong direction? That's all I care about. The paper can say you're 6% body fat, but if you look in the mirror and you are like clearly 20% body fat, it doesn't, like, the paper doesn't mean shit. So go by how you look, go by how you feel, go by how you perform, and just use numbers like this for progression. Is your weight going up or down? Is your body fat going up or down? Is your muscle mass going up or down? Stick to that. Try to measure under the same conditions every single time, and reliability is way more important than accuracy. Same thing goes for calorie counters, like MyFitnessPal. I use MyFitnessPal, but like, who's to say that the cookies are not 200 calories instead of 170? Okay, you just trust it because it's an app, and like there's a check mark, and like it's digital and it shows you what you want to see, but like every cookie could be different, right? Every box could be different. Same thing with calorie counters, like how many calories did you burn? How does that thing know? It just gives you like a ballpark estimate of like, this is how much you've burned based on the amount of times that this thing has shaken on your arm. Okay, everything is an estimate. What you gotta realize is an estimate is better than nothing, but it shouldn't be taken as religion. Another tip, and this is gonna blow your mind, and even for me, it's just like, I don't know, I thought about it during the 6.5 weeks, and I always think about ways to improve. I want to improve my physique, and I'm sure everyone, if not most of you, want to do the same. But everyone's like, oh, I eat so well during the week, it's just the weekend, I have to live my life, and like 1 or 2 drinks, these meals, whatever. I'm really good for the whole week, and then it's just like 1 day on the weekend or whatever. We tell people, if you want to achieve your goals, you need to adhere to your diet or your diet guidelines 90% of the time. That's the goal, 90%. The lower you go, so like 80%, 70%, your results are actually correlated to how much you adhere. So if you're 80%, you're going to be getting a little bit less results than 90%, but you're still good. 70%, a little bit less, and so on. So you want to aim for 90%. The real mind blower here is because everyone thinks that if you're good during the week, on the weekend you can be a little bit more relaxed. Okay, so 5 out of 7 days. 5 weekdays, 2 weekends. 5 out of 7 is 71%. 71%, guys. So like basic math, just right off the bat, you could be perfect for all 5 days, Monday to Friday. And then on the weekend, you can miss a bunch of your guidelines on every meal throughout the weekend, or let's say you just take it relaxed, and you're automatically at 71%. Automatically. No matter how perfect you are, Monday to Friday, you're 71% for that week if you mess up on the weekend. And not even mess up. This is just like not pay as much attention to your diet as if you did on the weekdays. Okay, 71%. So what does 90% look like? Like, what do you have to do in order to get 90%? So we're gonna do a little bit of math here. Let's say, like most people, you eat 3 meals per day. So 3 meals times 7 days leaves you with 21 meals for the whole week. Okay, what's 90% of this? 18.9, so 19. Out of the 21 meals that you have during the week, 19 of those have to be on track with your diet. So you can afford to miss or cheat on 2 meals for the whole week. How many of you guys are only messing up or cheating or getting a little bit more leeway on 2 meals a week? probably not a lot. Like, I personally don't do it at all. I do it more than 2 times. So in the case of 4 times, so 4 meals per week is 28 meals per week. 90% is 25 meals. Okay, which leaves you 3 meals for the whole week that you can afford to be off of your game, off of your diet game. That just puts into perspective, like, how many of you guys only mess up or only fall off your diet 3 times? Probably not a lot, right? It's probably way more than 3 times. For me, it's more than 3 times. So my personal goal is to aim to get closer to that 90%. I'm not gonna aim right off the bat to get 90, but I just know that on the weekends, I mess some stuff up. One thing for me personally, so this is just some basic math that you guys should apply to yourself, just for you to get some perspective as to where you are and what the reality is. Because if you don't even know that, like I didn't really connect it in my head, you're always gonna think that you're doing just fine, right? Have a target. So now it's missing 2 meals a week, or like having 2 cheat meals or 3 cheat meals per week. Whatever your percentage that you're aiming for is, have a solid goal in mind. One way that I'm going to fix my stuff is, I know that on the weekends, the main reason that I fall off my diet after looking back and analyzing myself, I work early on the weekend days. So I work at 7:30 in the morning. I try to get as much sleep as I can, because Friday night, usually we stay up late or whatever, or I just want to sleep, but I have to get up early and jet out the house, be at work by 7:30. So what I've noticed is I always skip breakfast on Saturday. Always. Don't have time to make anything. I just want to sleep as long as possible, then get up, get ready, and go out the door. I always skip breakfast. After I train my first client in the morning on Saturday, I'm super hungry. I'll either end up going to McDonald's or Tim Hortons on the way back. Right there, I've dropped the ball. Not enough protein, probably really high in fat. I don't really bring any food to the gym on Saturdays. So after I train in the morning, I come back to the gym. I come straight to the gym, and I'm here until about 1 o'clock. So I don't bring a lunch. I don't bring any snacks. And that's where I fall off. I get really hungry. If I train, I get even more hungry. I go home, I just want to eat whatever. We go out for lunch, or I just go home and I eat a bunch of junk. So right there, breakfast is the key. I already missed it because my protein is not high enough, or I'm not getting enough protein. I'm hungry, right? Protein keeps you full for longer. So automatically my protein is low, which is a main goal of mine, to keep it high. And then I lose the benefits of having the protein, which is I'm hungry. And now I'm so hungry that I don't really care what I eat, and we're gonna go out for lunch and I'm gonna eat a bunch of stuff. So the main fix is to make sure that I'm eating breakfast. So if I have to prep it the night before, because I know it's more realistic for me to prep something than for me to expect myself to get up in the morning and cook breakfast. So I'm gonna prep something quick, and then even a snack or a lunch if I have to, also prep, so I can grab and go in the morning, bring it to the gym, and I don't have that like hunger, I'm gonna eat whatever mentality. So right there, I fixed breakfast, and I've possibly fixed lunch. So I've gotten another 2 meals on the board for adhering with my diet, and I've brought my percentage a little bit closer to that 90. The rest of the time, like, I'm gonna eat out on the weekends, because that's one of the only times, probably the only time, that me and Andrea get to spend time together during the day. So I'm gonna eat out. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to, but I know there are some meals that I can and should afford to step my game up and refocus and just plan accordingly in order to get those. That way my percentage of adherence goes up, and I can still have those meals on the weekend. Aim for that 90% or whatever percent that you're trying to get to. Don't worry too much about this stuff, as long as the trend is going in the right direction, because this strength training, body composition game is long term. It's not a sprint. This is for months and years, not days and weeks. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a picture in this corner or this corner, or this corner, of a little snapshot of my body weight and how it's been changing for the last 3 or so months. So I try and track it. I track it at home on my whiteboard every single day, and I also put it in MyFitnessPal. Sometimes I forget to put it in MyFitnessPal, so it's not every single day, but it's most of the days. But what it does is it makes this cool little graph, and it graphs every single point of weight that I've put in for all those days. But you can see that the graph is like, it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. So I've lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight. But the trend, the overall trend of the line is going up. So that's what a snapshot of real progress looks like. And then if you're doing weight loss or fat loss, it would be the reverse. But there's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down, as long as the trend is generally going down. If it's not going down on a consistent slope, then that means you have to change something. All right, so you can see by mine's a pretty consistent slope, and the times where the slope has been increased or decreased, I've made adjustments to bring it back onto that same rate of progress. So that's what it should look like